Today I'm going to tell you real quick how to get your apple trees to spur. What spurring means getting it to start bearing fruit. Might be kind of really important. All right. First thing to do is you get yourself some twine. You wrap it around the tree, or wrap it around the branch. See, the problem with this, with the branches, is they are growing pretty much straight up. Okay, very much straight up. Fruit grows on branches that are laying down to the side. So I planted this tree 2 years ago. It's had plenty of growth. It's way over 10 foot tall. We are good to go. So what you do is you take the branch. Anyway, you take the branch and you tie it low. You want a good horizontal section. And what this is going to do is it's going to cause the apple tree to absorb more sun. Now, I tied that knot that way so that we can adjust it if we need to. So, this branch is ready to go. We need to leave it like this for about 3 or 4 months after it grows leaves again. I'm way behind the 8 ball on this. So, next branch will be this one, then this one. In a year, by this right here. This is where it stopped growing last year, that nodule there. And then all this is this year's growth. Pretty cool. Next year, this will be grown into the tree. Well, not entirely, because this is the year before. So it only grew the year before, only about 8 inches. By the way, pardon the mess in my yard. Kids' bikes. I have a lot of kids. So, why did I do this? Again, if apples will grow on a horizontal plane. So what we're doing is we're telling the tree to slow down the growth on these lateral branches so that it can start forming apple spurs. It has to do with the, pardon my nose, it's allergy season. It has to do with the sunlight hitting the side of the apple tree, and it will start producing spurs. Now there are 2 different kinds of spurs. One is a leaf spur, the other one is a fruit spur or fruit bud, which will be the first one. The fruit bud will stick straight out. The leaf bud will run almost parallel to the branch. So you're going to want to look for that. How long do you leave it like this? 3 months-ish. If it can hold itself on its own, then you're perfect. You're good to go. Now, are there different techniques? Yes, there are different methods, different techniques. What I did is what's called a reverse maypole. Not maple, like the tree, maypole. What's a maypole? Back in the Middle Ages, you've seen things where kids are dancing around this pole with ribbons, and the ribbons are kind of crisscrossing around this pole. That's maypoling. As far as trees are concerned, when trees are heavily laden with fruit, then what they do is they ram a pole straight down the middle of the tree and then tie the branches up to keep the fruit from breaking the branches. Other methods are espalier or espalier, or however the French pronounce it. There's also running these cordons, kind of like espalier, along wires, holding up the tree branches. Some people, tree growers, will actually crack the branches. So they'll break it on one side so that it will slow the growth in those branches, and then those will start producing fruit. I don't like that idea. I'd rather the tree keep its vigor even in the branches. So even these cordoned laterals that I'm making right here, even these, they're going to start growing branches up and out. That'll be fine. As the tree grows, I'll start training the trees or training the branches, and I'll start cutting them back, and I'll start pruning it, and I'll turn it into a form that works with the area that this is in. What else? I had a whole list. Got to look at notes. One other thing. That's what it was. Won't the tree produce fruit on its own, or do you have to do this? Now, you don't have to do this, but if you do this, you'll speed up fruit growth and fruit production by 1 to 2 years. And a lot of tree growers, a lot of apple and pear tree growers will do this, especially to younger trees, even younger than this tree, to cause it to start producing fruit fast. What they consider a full-grown tree is 10 foot, and then they'll top it off at 10 foot. Most professional growers will grow it in kind of a Christmas tree fashion, so wider branches on the bottom, tapering up, so that all branches can see the sun. I'm sorry, my allergies are really getting to me. Okay, other tree growers, and what I'll do, because I'm a home grower, I don't need that many apples. Yes, I have 8 kids, but this is my 3rd apple tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it kind of a vase or a goblet shaped. So it'll have a trunk and then kind of widen out. If I can insert a graphic, I'll do it right here. I like that better. To me, it looks better. And the trees are just as healthy, and they produce a great number of apples, especially if you cordon these down now and get it trained now. Will it be a perfect goblet shape? No, I'm not going to do it perfect. I don't have time. I have a full-time job. I have all this other stuff that I have to do. I have 8 kids, like I said, and I got to be a dad. So I'm not going to be able to do that terribly much. But what I do need to do is get this working so it'll actually start producing fruit. Anyway, for more information on this, you might want to check out some other channels. Stephen Hayes is really good. He's where I got most of my information that was actually useful. Other places, other channels that I went to, you got to be careful. One of them said, cut off all the spurs, and like a fool, I did that. And so most of my apples on my big tree, it took years for my big tree to start producing fruit again. It took me a long time pruning and doing this type of thing to make it work. If you're interested in growing multiple apple trees of similar varieties, or growing an orchard of your own, there are ways to do it. In fact, you only have to buy a few trees, and you can harvest this rootstock. It's perfectly good. You can harvest it, cut it, and clone it. And I can show you how to clone softwood or hardwood cuttings, as well as softwood cuttings, in later videos. And then after that, you can graft the top of this tree, because all apple trees, all modern apple trees, have a rootstock, which is usually some kind of crabapple tree, something with big roots that will keep the tree short, because apple trees grow huge, they're massive. But the rootstock will keep it dwarfed, so it'll stay relatively short. Apple growing is very natural. What I'm doing to this tree is very natural and normal, and I think it's actually better for the tree doing it this way than a lot of people do doing it some of the other methods that I discussed. So, hope this helped. Later.